Working Class Beer Reviews is looking at Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor. Yes, Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor. According to Wikipedia, well, I know for a certainty this is a product of the uh, Molson Coors, Miller Coors uh, portfolio. Is 5.6 ABV. Before I guess I get into the history of this, go ahead and pour it. I've got a Coors banquet glass. This originally was, let's get into, while this sets up here, why don't we turn this over here. I'm just going off of Wikipedia, and I know that's not always the most reputable source. When it comes to mundane things, you're fine. You should never take it as gospel, because anybody can go and change, information on it. But on this, the brand was created by Sterling Brewery in Evansville, Indiana. Which I think there might be a distillery in that area, not Evansville necessarily, but in Indiana, I know there's a distillery for major whiskey brewing and stuff like that. But from 1962 through 72, so it sounds like 62. And if anybody knows anything beyond the history on this, please let me know in the comments. I did not go hard in the paint on this one, but the company was purchased by the G. Heileman Brewing Company. And you may know that brewing company from Old Style. Old Style was the Heileman Brewing Company. And then in '96, Heileman was acquired by Stroh and then sold to Miller during the 1999 closure. And that had something to do with Pabst. I think Pabst had acquired Stroh's, and then Pabst turned around and made a deal with Miller to brew all their beers and sold a bunch of their breweries to them to brew their beers from. So it was kind of a big deal. If you do some research on it, it was a huge decision to make. And obviously Pabst is still around, Mickey's is still around. So I think Mickey's, Hamm's, Old English, the Blitz Weinhardt, some certain brands Pabst actually sold to Miller as part of the deal when they did this contract brewing thing with Pabst. So I want to say Mickey's is part of the acquisition. So 5.6% malt liquor is just a term for strong beer, because a lot of places, or states I should say, post-prohibition repeal, anything over 5%, it can't be called beer, or it has to be called something else. Has to be called ale. It's a weird thing. So it's known for its bright green barrel-shaped, waffle-ribbed, wide-mouthed 12-ounce bottles. So that's what this is. I bought a 6-pack of these. I want to say I paid like $8. It's not bad. I mean, anymore that's the going rate for this. And it's the image of a hornet on its label, which this does not anymore. I'm going to give you a close-up if the light will allow you to see it. No, it just says Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor. I've seen these in 40 ounce. In the Kansas City area, I've seen them 16 ounce cans. I'm sure there's other configurations. So 40, 16, 12 ounce bottles. I'm sure there's 20 or 18 ounce bottles around somewhere. 24 ounce cans and bottles. I don't think you'll ever see this on draft that I know of. But 12, 16, 22, 32, and 40 ounce sizes. So it says in pop culture there is a reference to Mickey's in the track Frank's Wild Years by Tom Waits on his 1983 album Swordfish Trombones. where on his way home from work, this song's titled character stopped at the liquor store, picked up a couple of Mickey's Big Mouths, and drank them in the car down by the Shell station. There's also a reference to Mickey's in the track Panhandling Prince by Ugly Kid Joe from the 1992 album America's Least Wanted. I remember that. It was like the Statue of Liberty giving the finger. They're the ones that sing Everything I Hate, or Hate Everything About You. That was real popular, especially on Beavis and Butthead. And it had the character Pat from Saturday Night Live on there. This song, Panhandling Prince, contained the lyrics, sitting on a rusty park bench, baby, not much else to do, smoke cigarettes, and drink my Mickey's fine malt liquor brew. That's actually pretty cool. So this is on Wikipedia. So, obviously someone saw that and added it to it. So what do you get? You get a very straw-colored appearance. Very, very clear. It's still got a bit of a head, not real thick. And obviously I've been yakking this whole time. So you see this this is one of those this is probably from the 70s or 80s, this glass. I got it at a flea market. I like Coors Banquet, but I just felt it appropriate because obviously you're not going to find, more than likely, you're not going to find a Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor glass. You can find a Miller glass or Pabst glass. And this is Coors, so Miller Coors, Molson Coors owns Miller. So that's the closest thing I had. I'm just getting tired of using the same old glasses. I use the tulip glass, the globe glass, dimpled mug, things like that. And I just wanted something different. So, yeah, clear as a bell, straw appearance, much like a normal lager. This is a lager. So 5.6%. That's what malt liquor is. Anything above 5%. That's what they would call that. So let's give it a smell. Grainy, slightly sweet. Not much bitterness or hops to know. I mean, it definitely has corn in it. This is not a craft quality beer, I guess you'd say. I'm not saying it's like low tier, but it's not. It's definitely working class. For sure, working class. So let's give it a sip. I have more to say about this, but it's about the review. So let's get the review underway, and then we can expound upon my personal experience and anything like that. Of all the standard malt liquors, which they're kind of becoming harder to find, the originals, I can't find Schlitz malt liquor. King Cobra is everything now is like high gravity, so it's like all this 8%. It's like Steel Reserve, Hurricane, stuff like that. I don't get standard Hurricane. I get the high gravity. Colt 45 this be in line with Colt 45, and regular Old English is closer to 6%. I want to say, might be 5.8. Carbonation is good. So yeah, it's pretty well presenting. I think this is a bit of a novelty, and I think it's still cool that they go with these bottles, because a lot of places, or a lot of companies I should say, had certain beers in really unique bottles. I'm looking at you, Anheuser-Busch, for Michelob, with your hourglass bottles that was award winning when they were first released in the 60s. And they kept on doing it until the early 2000s. And then for some reason, probably close to around the time of the buyout, they quit doing that. Well, actually it's before the buyout. Before the buyout, they went to like a Sam Adams looking bottle, which is also what they use for shock top and things like that. But I have a picture somewhere, and I'll have to, maybe I could post it on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at Jeeping Foodie, but that's not really so much. I need to probably make my own like working class beer reviews Instagram page, is what I need to do. Social media is really not my thing aside from this. It's just kind of a fun point and shoot So yeah, this is fine quality. It's great. Let's see if there's a date. I bet. Well, it's gonna be it's dark outside, so I have to rely on this light. Oh wait, December 2nd of 2024. So it's still within date. That's probably the best by date. Obviously, not the born on date because it's ahead of time. So it's got until December. So yeah, it's still within date, which has been kind of a rarity with some of my reviews. I've been buying all these beers that have been past date. With this being in a green bottle, obviously it was not exposed to a bunch of heat or light because it's not skunky. These can be skunky. They've been known to be skunky. It doesn't really say anything interesting on the label. Yeah, there used to be a Hornet. And I don't know if it had boxing gloves or something like that on it. But yeah, like a fighting Hornet. Kind of like Charlotte. You know, the college. The Hornets. But yeah, it's still a neat bottle. And the other thing is they have these lids with these these picture puzzles, which, oh goodness, dropped my tablet. You probably can't see that. It's got the rubber seal on it. So just for the video's sake, I brought my knife out here. Let's see if I can't pick, unless it takes forever to do. Let's see if I can't peel. The seal, the bottle seal, is what clouds it. So if you take the puzzles actually print on underneath the cap. This is going to be annoying because it's really glued on there. There we go. Oh goodness. So M Wave Brush T Paddle. Yeah, so I'm gonna show this to you, and maybe I'm gonna leave it here for a bit. If you need to pause the video, if you can solve that puzzle, let me know in the comments what it says. I'm gonna get in here. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully that's not too close. I'll go out a little bit. Pause the video and let me know what it says. M Wave Ocean Crest, I don't know, M Crest Ocean. But this is kind of the fun thing about this. Each bottle has a different puzzle, and I think they do online on the Mickey's website. There is a key for certain pictures. I don't think it dissects everything, but it gives you clues on what if you have a hard to find one. Like I had one, it had like little booty socks, like the little knitted socks, and had a phone, like an outgoing call, and so it was booty call. Yeah, so yeah, that was the last one I had, was booty call. So this one had a little more, you know, some of them are real easy, some of them you have to really think about, and some of them are a stretch too. So yeah, you know what, I'll look at that later. If I had to sit here and think about this, there'd be so much dead air on this video, and it'd be a 20-minute video, regardless of the time that I spent actually reviewing this beer. So I knew these guys when I worked at Payless Cashways. If anybody remembers that company, it was like a hardware store, lumber yard from, you know, way back in the day up until around 2000, 2001. So yeah, somewhere in there. And the company went belly up because the upper management refused to funnel money back into the company. They just put it into themselves, which is when a lot of companies went belly up. This is like pre-internet, or like around the time of the dawn of the internet. So if companies refuse to go online, like J.C. Whitney and Western Auto and stuff like that, you know, Sears, they just didn't want to put a presence online, and they got usurped by Amazon and stuff like that. Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards are the big big companies now as far as hardware and lumber. Ace has got a bit of a presence. So we have a Sutherland's here in town. I think it's kind of a Midwest thing. If any of you guys have a Sutherland's in your city, let me know. We have one. I've had one here since I was a little kid. So yeah, but I worked for Payless Catchways, and I remember a guy saying, he's like, on a good paycheck, I buy Mickey's. On a no overtime paycheck, I buy Beast, which is Milwaukee's best. So that was like, if he got overtime on his paycheck, he could afford to buy Mickey's, which is a cut above the rest. That was like his reward for overtime was Mickey's. So yeah, those were the days. And that was back when this stuff was probably like $5 a 6-pack or less. You know, the price of beer is ridiculous. And I understand that wages are going up, but profits are going up too for companies. So they're not hurting. You know, the people in charge will always make sure that they get taken care of first before everything else, which typically means the consumer has to suffer. And it stinks when they weaponize inflation the way they have in the past. Oh man, we're going on a decade probably. I mean, things have kind of started to staircase up. Obviously, in the past 5 years, it's gone haywire. But I would say in the past decade, you know, honest, hardworking people such as myself. And I'm not saying this to proclaim myself, but just people, working class people, just the middle class, lower class, anything. It's just become increasingly difficult to just be. You know, your dollar doesn't go as far. I worked for a food distribution company with U.S. Foods, and I've watched the price of just everything go up. You know, I used to be able to buy, I can buy stuff and it gets taken out of my paycheck, but I would buy a case of chicken, 40-pound case of chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and it'd be around $50. And now it's around $80. So $30 difference. It doesn't, you know, $30 is $30, but you know what? I've got other things that are going up in price too that I have to pay for. And it's not fun. You know, beef is, you know, we had to save a lot where I had affordable cuts of steak and stuff that I'm guessing they tasted good to me, but that store went belly up. So Walmart, Woods, Aldi, beef prices are ridiculous. I'm not going to pay close to $20 for a ribeye steak per pound, you know. It's unfair, and it's hurting people, and I think that's by design. And it's unfortunate that some people win, some people lose, you know. And that's why I do this channel. I do craft beers and stuff when I can find them, when I can afford them, but I focus on the stuff that everybody likes to enjoy. And most people like Mickey's. I actually gave one of these to my dad, and he helped me work on one of the puzzles, and he's like, this is actually better than I remember it being. He never drank it on a regular basis at all. I'm sure he's had it, but he's like, yeah, it's really good. Because it tastes like a Miller High Life. It tastes like a Budweiser, you know, Coors Banquet, Colt 45. It's really not that much different. A little higher in carbs because of the alcohol content, but it's still good. You know, really good. If you can get them where it hasn't been sitting in a window with these green bottles, you can find, you know, sometimes you can find pint cans and stuff at a gas station. 40-ounce bottles, yes. So enjoy it. If you love it, enjoy it, get it. I appreciate it. I get it every so often. It's kind of fun. It's a bit of a novelty. It's fun to find something that still has a kind of a cool bottle. But anyway, let me know what your feelings on Mickey's fine malt liquor is. I know they have a high gravity version, So it's out, and they used to have an ice version. I watched Ron do it. He said, I think it was in St. Louis. He went to a Cardinals game. I want to say, Ron, if you watch this, correct me. Where did you find that Mickey's Ice can that you will probably never get rid of that can because you'll never find it again? That's like, a hidden gem. But yeah, that's this where I live. That's the only variant I can find. So thank you for watching this video. I'm sorry if it went long, but it was kind of fun to talk about this and just to talk about the state of things in general, because we're all going through it. Yeah, I feel you. I get it. I'm doing it too. And it's not great, but we're doing the best we can. So enjoy beers like this, and I will see you guys later.